Hello, I'm back again to talk about American domestic politics, like I always do. And ruffle some more feathers. And ruffle some more feathers. Why not, right? I figured if I'm going to do something, I'm going to try to be effective on this social media platform, or a few at that. This isn't the only one I use, by the way, either. I use X, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So, yes, I'm also on YouTube if anybody wants to go check that out. It's pretty much repost though. I do a couple videos on YouTube, but I can't do long ones. They have to be very short skits because I don't have a lot of followers on there right now. Um, so I'm just playing with it like I am with this, and I just forward videos from here to YouTube because I can do longer ones on TikTok. So if you're wondering, it's similar content. It's pretty much the same, but it's on YouTube instead. Because YouTube doesn't demonetize everything like TikTok. It's a little bit more. You get a little bit more room to talk about what you want to talk about on there, and I don't sometimes get tired of trying to mince my words and be careful. Um, their guidelines on here are a little strict. Not gonna lie, I do like TikTok though. It's still one of my favorite platforms. Um, but I do use other social media websites too, though. And yes, it's anyone's guess. I use them all in my name. I keep it easy. So if you look up my name, it'll pop up. So yeah, I keep it simple. So yeah. Anyways, I was continuing off talking about what I was talking about earlier about the legacy of Martin Luther King and how most politicians broke their promises to Martin Luther King's legacy, but yet every holiday when it comes to Martin Luther King Day, they're all, oh, Martin Luther King and the values he espoused, and you know, the it gets gross after a while because a lot of politicians don't uphold the values of Martin Luther King. Okay, Martin Luther King, like I said, believed in housing and healthcare as a human right. He was a peacemaker. He was an anti-war activist. You know, he espoused the values of what justice is supposed to be. And what's so disheartening in this country is moral clarity's now become partisan. And I ask myself, why and when did this happen? You know, moral clarity is now a political football. And what we're witnessing right now in this country couldn't be further from moral clarity. It's complete corrupt hate and hypocrisy on steroids. Okay. The fact that we're debating whether ICE agents are legally allowed to shoot and kill people unlawfully. This is a discussion we're having in the country right now. And there are people, it's literally a political football, and the media contributes to it. When they go out and say, oh, well, Democrats think this and Republicans think that. How about, is this right? Is this normal? And is this right or is this wrong? When did moral clarity become strictly a partisan issue? That's the heck what I want to know. You know, because I didn't know evidence is political football now. Okay. When we're witnessing ICE agents literally hurting people on TV, killing people, shooting people, beating people, gouging them, insane human rights abuses, we're debating on whether that was justified or not? Really, you guys? This is the kind of discussion we're having in the country amongst citizens who are still, till this day, standing with what this guy is doing in the White House. It's repulsive and disgusting. It's just unbelievable that ignorance and tribalism have gotten so strong in this country that we can't look outside ourselves and be objective and have moral clarity about anything that's basic right and wrong and human decency. So yeah, I meant what I said in my last video. Because Martin Luther King would be rolling in horror right now. If he was alive and seen what was happening today. All right. And again, we need a true civil rights movement back. Energy from the 60s back in the 21st century. And I'm encouraged to see it starting to happen because, for frick's sake, we need it. Our country is falling apart in prime time right now. Fascism is eating our country alive. And I'm glad more people are waking up and realizing this is a problem and they're not going to stand idly by anymore and just let it happen. Because moral clarity and facts should not be a partisan issue. It should not. I'm appalled today, at the age of 40, and the 20 years I've voted, born in the 80s, now in the 21st century, see my country devolve this bad. Okay. The country effectively had a collapse and a meltdown. Yeah, America voted for a biracial black man for 2 terms. God forbid, there were people in this country that couldn't stomach it. It killed them to have 2 terms of an intelligent biracial man sitting in the White House. The backlash this country faced since then has been monumentally consequential. Like, we went from that to Donald Trump. Imagine the world we're living in right now. We thought we were finally going forward as a nation in 2008 and 9. Because our country was on the brink of collapse under the president, George W. Bush. All right. And America voted for Barack Obama. And no, I'm not going to say his middle name because I don't want to feel the energy. Okay, we know what his middle name is. I get it. Whatever. Who cares? Yeah. And we had him for 8 years. Now, we saw some great gains and progress under his presidency. Whether it was a climate, Paris Accord deal, the Iran deal, the Affordable Care Act, which politicians are now dismantling effectively, especially the Republicans. What a shocker. Yeah, so we had that for 8 years. And now there was a lot of things that didn't happen either that I would have wished happened. You know, income inequality issues did not get better. The rich continue to get richer. Homeowners didn't get bailouts, but Wall Street did. So, yeah, there's a lot of undone progress that was not done in this country. And I get it. We are frustrated about a lot of things. And, yeah, America decided to give us Donald Trump after Obama, which was unfortunate. Now, I know there was many factors that led to that point, too, though. It wasn't just that. See, I have the ability to be nuanced to look outside the picture. I'm not looking just in my bubble. Because if I wanted to come off as a typical liberal and say, oh, America only voted for him because they're racist, I'm not going to say that because I don't believe people vote for one issue only. I am objective. And it's not always easy to be objective, but I do have to look at the facts in front of me. Because I see reality. I'm logical. I'm practical in my thinking. You know, I know some people might find it hard to believe because I identify as the left. Yeah, you can be left-wing and logical. I know some people find that hard to believe. But I'm also intellectual and I believe in nuance and I understand government is a lot more complicated than people realize. You know. So, yeah. That's all I want to say in this video. I'll continue on the next one later. So, yeah. You guys have a great night, great day. Love y'all. Bye.